Well, it's been an interesting morning in the House of Keys. Anyone listening to the debate would have been obviously fascinated with the amount of questions and the variety of the questioning that was going particularly to Mr. Eddie Teare, Finance. Probably leading the charge was Alf Cannan, although Kate Beecroft was also there. I mean, your take on the morning, first of all.
Well, we've got to say, the more this goes on, the more shambolic it gets. I think what is now clear is that government policy in respect of the use of the economic development funds and other funds is now compromised. Nobody ever expected loans to be, or more money to be, public money to be used in this way. Those funds were there for development purposes. And then we have the issue of the £450,000, which was given effectively last year to the group and was given, it would appear, in secret without any reference whatsoever to any political members of departments.
I mean, that's how it came across to a lot of people. I mean, Eddie Teare was doing his best to explain it all. You weren't taking these answers? No,
because it seems to me that every time we ask a question, we get a slightly different take on matters. There's no consistency. We had a number of questions, a range of questions about the whole deal and the whole group today. And there were some serious implications coming back from some of the answers that were given to us. It wasn't my question, but there was a question about whether the group effectively was solvent in terms of how its valuation of its assets. And we'll have to go back and digest Hansard, but it would appear that the Treasury Minister indicated that either without this deal the group was insolvent, or prior to receiving this deal the group was insolvent. So we need some proper clarification, and then we didn't get some questions answered because predominantly the Council of Ministers decided in the vote to extend question times that they didn't want to go through that process. There was only 3 questions there, and that just really sums up the feeling that the whole thing is undemocratic and it's just not right.
The national insurance thing was interesting. Maybe you can explain to me. They haven't paid up to date, therefore the money that it seems, I mean, explain it if I've got this wrong, but the money that they've now loaned, some of it's going to come back to government coffers in money owed to the government. Is that the right take on it?
Well, it looks like we're lending money to get some money back. And this whole issue around the national insurance and ITIP, any other business on the Isle of Man who runs into trouble with ITIP, to everybody's mind, was not eligible for any sort of government funding. And in fact, that the ITIP national insurance would probably give somebody and a business time to pay, and might even look for an arrangement. But if they weren't able to pay, then invariably you find that business would be chased for its debt and probably taken to court and probably shut down. And so what we've got here is a vast disparity in the rules. We've got one rule for the Sefton Group and one rule for everybody else. And I think this goes really to the nub of the issue. You know, this has compromised the free market. It's compromised business confidence in government. Government is operating a fair and level playing field. And when we look at that issue, and we've discussed this before in our last interview, Paul, it's a very, very serious matter when business confidence is damaged in some ways. And so, you know, we need to get some more answers here, but it's increasingly looking that government will have to take some pretty serious steps to restore confidence.
Let's talk about integrity, though. I mean, do you believe this was done for the right reasons, or are you a conspiracy theorist?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. Government has interfered in a free market. The Sefton Group were fundamentally responsible for their own mismanagement, okay? And it was not the job of the government to lend them money. This is in this market that we operate. Companies make mistakes. Some are successful in terms of the risks they take. Other companies not so. But that's the way it goes. And if they're right and it works, they share in the profits. And if it goes wrong, then they have to effectively pay for that. And there's been many examples of that. And I know many business people on the island who are taking substantial risks right at this very moment, who have substantial debts that they've accumulated to grow their companies, to create jobs, to create investment, but they know the price that will be paid if they fail. And that is why it's a real kick in the teeth for them, for companies like Sleepwell and other hoteliers in the industry. And that's why it's very damaging to business confidence.
Mr. Teare said he couldn't answer various questions for confidentiality reasons. Do you buy that?
Well, this is just ridiculous. We have given a company public funds, public money on a loan deal. We want to know exactly how that deal is structured. Anybody giving away almost £5 million, if you include the 450,000 that they had last year, £5 million in total, would want to know the ins and outs of absolutely every facet of that business's operations in order to be confident that we were going to get our money back and the deal was secure. So it is extremely disappointing. It is extremely frustrating to hear the Treasury Minister say that some aspects of the deal are confidential, or that it's a confidential issue between the company and their directors, because once they've partaken of public money, you can forget confidentiality, because the public are entitled to know how their money is being spent and why it is being spent and who's in receipt of it.